Let's dive into one of the most exciting, and let's be honest, wildest times in a child's life, that 18 to 24-month window. It is a time of just incredible growth, nonstop energy, and some really, really big feelings. So today, we're going to explore how to understand and navigate this amazing journey together.
I mean, if you've ever found yourself in a serious negotiation with a 2-foot-tall person about why pants are in fact necessary to leave the house, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This age is just a whirlwind, isn't it? New skills, very strong opinions, and endless curiosity. It can feel a little chaotic, but wow, it's also completely amazing.
So, to help make sense of all this, we're going to break it all down into a super simple 3-pillar framework. And this isn't just another list of tips, okay? It's really a way to shift our thinking, to help us see the world through their eyes and build an even stronger connection with them. So let's get started by looking at the incredible changes happening inside them. But before we even get to our first pillar, we have to just stop and appreciate what's really going on here. Because it's not just one little thing changing, it's everything, all at once. We're talking about a full-on developmental explosion that's changing how they move, how they think, and how they feel. And the speed of this change? It's just mind-blowing. I mean, it really feels like just yesterday they were taking those first wobbly steps and saying maybe a word or two. And now? Now they're sprinting across the living room, climbing on the furniture, and shouting 2-word demands like, more juice. Understanding this incredible leap is the absolute key to our first pillar. Okay, so that leads us perfectly into pillar number 1, their developing world. Let's take a look at what's happening inside their minds and their bodies that's driving all this incredible and, yeah, sometimes challenging new behavior.
So, you've got 4 key areas basically firing on all cylinders. Their gross motor skills are leveling up from walking to full-on running. Their fine motor skills are letting them scribble and stack a few blocks. Their language is just exploding. And maybe the biggest one of all, their sense of self is being born. That little person saying no to absolutely everything, that's them discovering they're their own person with their own ideas. Realizing that, well, it changes everything.
Now that we've got a handle on their inner world, we can move on to our second pillar, the environment. So how do we shape the world around them to build up their confidence and help them feel safe and secure while all this internal change is happening? Here is the secret sauce. Predictability is the antidote to chaos. Think about it. When their internal world is changing so fast, a predictable external world becomes this powerful anchor for them. Routines aren't about being rigid. They're about creating a comforting rhythm that helps them feel safe because they know what's coming next. So what does that actually look like? Well, think of the day as more of a template, not a strict script you have to follow. Each part has a purpose, right? Outdoor time to get the wiggles out, quiet time to let their little brains rest. This kind of simple structure gives them a huge sense of order and security. And inside that safe structure, you can start to give them a little bit of power. Offer small, manageable choices. Do you want the red cup or the blue cup? To give them a feeling of control. Let them help by carrying their own little bag. Set up their play space with just a few toys on a low shelf so they can choose their own adventures. Every single one of these small acts builds real, lasting confidence. And that brings us to our third and final pillar, connection. This is the emotional bridge. It's the glue that holds their inner world and the environment you've created together. It's all about making your bond even stronger through the way you communicate. Right now, their language is taking off, and you are their #1 teacher. You can totally supercharge this development with a few simple habits. Just narrate your day. I'm washing the dishes now. When they say a word, build on it. They say dog, and you come back with, yes, a big brown dog is barking. And of course, reading together every day. It's one of the most powerful things you can do. But you know, it's not just about their words. It's about their feelings. They have these huge emotions that they just don't understand yet. Our job is to be their emotional coach. So first, just label the feeling. I can see you're feeling really frustrated. Then, show them what to do. Saying something like, Mommy is taking a deep breath to feel calm is incredibly powerful. And finally, offer comfort. This teaches them that feelings are manageable, that they aren't something to be scared of. Okay, so we've covered the toddler's world, their environment, and our connection. But none of these pillars can stand on their own without a solid foundation. And you know what that foundation is? It's you. Your well-being is what makes everything else even possible. Taking care of yourself is not selfish. It's the essential fuel for this whole journey. And it doesn't have to be some big complicated thing. We're talking 5 minutes of silence with a hot cup of coffee, a quick text to another parent who just gets it, and taking a moment at the end of the day to celebrate the small wins. Because when your own cup is full, you have so much more patience and energy to handle, well, anything.
So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this question. Thinking about their inner world, your environment, and your connection, what's one small thing you can try this week? Because this whole thing isn't about just surviving the toddler years. It's about finding the tools to truly enjoy this incredible, wild, and very fleeting moment. Just remember, understand their world, shape their environment, and always, always lead with connection. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really powerful philosophy about the role of women, and it's inspired by a quote from, of all people, Cyrus the Great. It's a perspective that, honestly, might just change how you see the act of creation itself. Okay, so let's really get into this. This one sentence, it's not just a nice thought. It's a whole philosophical framework. Think of it like a chain reaction. We're going to go through it link by link to see how the source builds this incredible argument, connecting woman to existence, to love, to humanity, and then finally to freedom.
All right, the first link in that chain is the biggest one. It's this concept of woman as the Hesti Bakshi, or the existence giver. Now, according to this philosophy, this goes way, way beyond just biology. We're talking about the creation of not just physical life, but meaning itself.
Now this is where it gets really interesting. Look at the contrast the source is drawing here. It's not about putting down the male role, it calls it a momentary contribution. It's about really elevating the female role into this profound, continuous act of creation that lasts for months. It's a process that involves her entire being, her body, her mind, her emotions, the whole thing.
So this existence giving is a total process, you see. It's not just building a body. It's about shaping the very soul of a new person. And what's wild is how modern science totally backs this up, confirming that a mother's emotional state can actually shape her child's future personality. It's no wonder the source calls the womb a bridge between, the physical world and the world of meaning.
Okay, so if woman is the existence giver, how in the world does she then create love? The quote says she does, right? But it's not like she's ordering it into existence. The idea here is that she embodies the very thing that makes love possible to begin with.
And that brings us to this really cool concept from the source, jazbe. You can think of it like an existential gravity, a pull that's not just physical, but deeply spiritual and emotional. And in this view, a woman doesn't have to do anything to create this pull. Her very being is the pull. She's the natural source of it all.
And this is just a fascinating flip of the script. In a lot of mystical traditions, the beloved is a gateway to the divine. Well, this philosophy says, hold on, woman is that primary gateway. So love isn't something she just gets, it's the powerful natural response she inspires in others. She literally sets connection in motion. So if woman is the source of love, what does that love actually do? Well, according to the quote, it nurtures our humanity. It builds us. The source uses this word tarbiyat, which is all about upbringing and shaping our character. This is where love becomes a kind of education. And this is where this ancient philosophy suddenly feels incredibly modern. It's pretty amazing, really. These ideas map almost perfectly onto modern psychology, like attachment theory. A mother's love, her touch, her voice, they aren't just comforting things. They're the first and maybe most important classroom for learning how to be human, how to trust, and how to connect. Now, a really important point here is that the source expands motherhood into something much bigger than biology. It's a nurturing quality, this empathy, this ability to create emotional safety that anyone can have. And there's a pretty stark warning too. When societies ignore or devalue this type of nurturing, they risk facing huge crises of violence and identity. And this brings us to the final and most powerful part of the quote, that from all this nurtured humanity, true freedom emerges. Now that might sound like a bit of a leap, but according to the source, there's a direct cause and effect link between the love a child gets and the free adult they grow up to be. And here it is, the path from love to freedom. It all starts with unconditional love, which builds this deep, unshakable sense of self-worth. And that self-worth is what gives a person what you could call inner freedom. The courage to be themselves, to speak their mind without fear.
The argument here is that all the political freedom in the world doesn't mean much if you don't have that inner foundation first.
So you have to wonder, right? If this philosophy is so powerful, so intuitive, why does it feel so unfamiliar? Well, the source argues that this is no accident. It claims its entire way of thinking was deliberately suppressed and twisted throughout history.
The source actually points to Cyrus the Great's own life as maybe the source of this whole philosophy. His deep respect for his mother, Mandana, who was highly educated, and his incredible love for his wife, Cassandan. He declared empire-wide mourning when she died. It paints a picture of a leader who really truly understood this power.
So how was this idea suppressed? Well, the source claims it was done through a kind of philosophical sabotage. You take these qualities associated with the feminine, like gentleness and empathy, and you rebrand them as weakness. You take emotional depth and you call it irrational. Intuitive wisdom, that's just incomplete reason. It's a systematic distortion of strengths into flaws, all to maintain control.
So if we really follow this analysis, the conclusion is kind of startling. The historical suppression of women wasn't about a belief that they were weak. It was about a deep-seated fear of their strength, a fear of their power to shape the future, to champion love over violence, and maybe most of all, a fear that they would raise human beings who are simply too free to be controlled.
And this is really the final provocative thought the source leaves us with. It's not just a history lesson, it's a direct challenge. It asks us to seriously imagine what our world, our societies, our politics, our own relationships might look like if we decided to build them around this ancient, powerful philosophy of creation. Thank you for joining this explainer.